In economic terms, if you look at our exports, we've gone from the day we voted Brexit to now, from being the world's 7th biggest exporter to the world's 4th biggest exporter.
Not in trade, as I'm sure you'll concede.
What trade?
Services?
Trade and services.
Services and gold, not in trade.
Well, trade is both. So,
not in goods, I'm so sorry, in goods.
No, not in goods. Well, we've given up manufacturing things as part of the reason for that. But I want to say this. There are two massive disappointments with Brexit. One of them is economic. 5.5 million men and women in this country running small limited companies or acting as sole traders, living under a huge burdensome rule book, living under VAT thresholds that are too low, damaging genuine growth and prosperity in the economy. Those of us that voted Brexit, those of us that saw an 80-seat majority for Boris Johnson in 2019, the opportunity to free up those small businesses, to get rid of rules and regulations, the Conservative government have done none of it. And that is a huge regret. It's not a failure with Brexit, it's a failure to deliver what people voted for.
Weston, since you asked this question, if you don't mind me asking, how did you vote in the referendum?
I wanted to leave.
And you're asking this question because you're happy with what you're seeing now, or unhappy?
I'm not happy. I understand Nigel's not the Prime Minister, but I mean, on the ground level, for the common working man or woman, nothing's changed. Everything's expensive now. People are really struggling with the cost of living crisis. I don't think, what's needed at the moment is so vast. I don't think anyone's really put anything serious forward. And I think many working class people look to you
to Nigel.
Yeah, to Nigel to deliver on Brexit. I'm a Labour voter, but I voted for Brexit, and I thought things would possibly change, as did many people. But on the ground level, if you look at what's happening at the moment in the country, there's a lot of poverty, and there's a lot of people who are, struggling at the moment, and who cares about them? No one cares about them, because I think you have one group of people who live a certain way, a very small number of people than you have everybody else, and I don't think they can resonate with how average common man or woman in this country is. And it's all well and good to just talk about one issue, but it's a much wider issue.
I totally get that, and that's why the main policy platform, domestic policy platform that we're running on in this election will make a huge difference to that group of people you're talking about, is to lift the threshold at which people start paying tax for £20,000 a year. Why? Because it means the lower paid in society will be better off. We've talked about increasing poverty. But crucially...
Can I just wait a minute, can I just challenge you on that? Because I know that's something you've said before. But you've got other people analysing your policies and saying that actually the top 10% of households would receive, under your policy, 28 pence for every pound, but the bottom 10% would only get 2 pence for every pound. So the richest households would be an increase of 4.3%, would they? But only 2.3%
No.
So how is it benefiting?
No. In percentage terms, those that will benefit the most are those on low pay. But here's the crucial bit.
Well, not according to some economists who say actually would be more.
Well, we don't think
that
staff nurses in hospitals should pay 40% tax, right? People have been dragged in to higher and higher taxes.
But just to check, so you're saying my figures are wrong?
In percentage terms, they're wrong, yes.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with your figure.
They're wrong.
I like it.
The lowest in society in terms of income. And let me tell you, benefits.
Benefits, hold on, benefits. Forever.
They're not about it. There are many people, I bet we all know people on benefits who'd love to get back to work, but if they work for more than 16 hours a week,
work longer than 16 hours. Oh, yeah. More like 24 hours a day. I mean, always working, and claiming, all that, Never did pay tax, you know what I mean?
And I tell you what, that would do more for the poorest in society, more than any of the other parties have even considered or discussed.
I'm a doctor in the NHS, my parents.
Don't talk about the NHS. Oh my God, really?
You've said that the reason that there's waiting lists for the NHS, is not enough houses, there's not enough, the cost of living is too high, is because of migrants. But since Brexit, there's been shortages of critical medications in the NHS, from what I understand, because of supply chain issues, such as IV paracetamol and other medications that help people not die. As someone that we have to thank for Brexit, what would you propose that we should do about this?
What I blame for problems.
Just
here
tell them to go home.
are migrants.
Go on, go home.
The population.
You're no good.
I mean, we've had a 10 million increase in the British population since 1997, a 6 million increase since 2010 for the Conservatives.
There's
We're
not
elected.
enough of certain types of medications.
In terms of medication,
It's because too many people are using them. Is that what you're
the
saying?
reason we have a waiting list.
No, no, she's asking us to do no waiting list.
Infected with a poison. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah.
Well, here's the point.
Well, just so we're clear
And
on the
it's not
question
just
is,
paracetamol and ibuprofen, it's medications that are critical to keep people
and
alive.
you're saying, with your experience with Brexit, is either wholly or partly the reason why it's
Well,
harder to get
before the vote, we get all sorts of diseases if we voted Brexit. But here's the point. Freed from the European Medicines Agency, and thank goodness we are. And if as a doctor you believe in the vaccine rollout, of course you'll have noticed, and there are questions about it, but you'll notice our vaccine rollout was way ahead of Europe. Why? We left the European Union.
Nigel, in fairness, you are not at all answering her question. Her question is about
No,
a
I am.
shortage of medicine.
We now are free from the European Medicines Agency to run our own procurement policy, which means we can buy whatever drugs we need from anywhere in the world without having to get them registered.
It's not working.
Well, if it's not working, it's rather like back to the earlier point. We are now free. We're in charge. We can buy drugs from anywhere in the world. If the NHS is failing to do that, that's on them, not Brexit.
Man here is Brexit.
How much better off are you because of the taxes you don't have to pay through the UK leaving the European Union?
I'm not. I do the opposite. You're all poorer because the tax burden is now for working people is now the highest since 1948. And this is the trickery. I mentioned earlier about staff nurses. 40p tax was the top rate of tax in this country, right? From the mid-80s right through to the end of Tony Blair's time. And 1.5 million people paid that top rate of tax. Because of sleight of hand and freezing allowances, at the end of 2027, it will be 8 million paying that level of tax. Fascinatingly, both Labour and Conservatives agree they're going to keep the tax bands frozen. You will all be paying more tax under the next government, whether it's Labour or whether it's Conservative.
We heard from the Green Party before you, and to me they felt full of hope. Listening to you, it feels full of fear. Does that bother you that you give an atmosphere of fear and perhaps people vote for you because they're worried about what will happen?
I want to help the poorest in society, lift them out of society, get people off benefit. We won't just help them economically, but psychologically too. I want to put grip on the population explosion so that for the NHS and others, we can start to catch up. I want our young people, our small businesses to be free from regulation, to become more profitable. Actually, what I'm offering is, and look, we know Labour are going to win, right? We've known from the start Labour will win. What I'm offering is a platform to campaign on for the next 5 years. It is positive, it is optimistic, it is about building a better Britain, but recognising that right now it's broken, and the two leading parties offer no solutions at all.
Black t-shirt, yeah.
Nigel, how do you plan to pay for it? Like there's a lot of stuff in your manifesto, but how do you actually plan to pay for all this stuff? Conservative and Labour, they're not offering all these things you're offering, so how do you actually plan to pay for it?
Fair dues. By the way, I won't call it a manifesto, because I think the word association with manifesto is lie. So I'm calling it a contract.
Yeah, but just to be clear, contract has a legal status, so the people here potentially could sue you if you don't do what you say. So you might call it a contract, I think by any definition, it isn't one.
I'm always prepared to take
It's more like a manifesto.
Point number one, a racket that goes on between the Bank of England and the banks with their money. I'm not a big fan of the banks, as some might know. That's costing up to £35 billion a year. Point number two, the HS2 project, which is just hopelessly out of date for the modern world. I'd scrap the rest of that, we'd say £35 billion. That's a big one.
So you're just going to leave all the HS2 that's already been built, that's all just going to be scrapped, all the construction.
Well, very often in life, the first cut's the best cut. We started off with HS2 with an estimated bill of 38 billion. Suddenly it looks like it could be up to 150 billion.
So money down the drain then, essentially.
Yes, yeah, but rather than putting more down the drain. But the big one is this. Both parties want to decarbonise the grid. And we're told by Labour we can do it to 2030. We're told by the Conservatives we can do it to 2035. We can't. It's literally impossible. It is going to be the single most expensive thing we've ever done in the history of these islands. We can comfortably save £30 billion a year by growing up and being sensible and recognise if we want carbon-free energy, reliable, not intermittent, carbon-free energy, the only way to go is small modular nuclear reactors.
Okay,
And that's the future that I foresee.
I'm afraid I have to cut you off there, Nigel Kidney. Our time is up. Thank you very much.
For start.
Half an hour. Thank you very much, Nigel Parrish. Thank you very much for our audience. That is it. Question Time will be back next Friday, not Thursday. Of course, that's polling day. On Friday, we'll be in London picking over the actual election results. Who knows where we'll be then. For now, from Birmingham, from all of us here, bye-bye.
My name is Inspector Chittenden. I can be formidable. Meet our newest recruit, our man from London. Detective Emmett Sullivan. I think we can safely call this a murder. Your duty is to this job and this job alone.
Brand new, The Turkish Detective. Starts Sunday the 7th of July on BBC Two and iPlayer.
Ahead of Wimbledon, BBC One follows one boy's journey from Dunblane to Centre Court, the making of a Grand Slam legend. Andy Murray, will to win.
If all goes to plan, Andrew Murray from Dunblane could be one of the brightest stars on the international tennis circuit. Many believe he has the potential to go all the way to the top in the professional game.
He was a very coordinated young child. He was a very smart match player from a young age.
I love it, boys, Andrew Murray. The trick is with Andrew Murray is to keep going from this early promise, so that one day Scotland can say it truly has a contender for the Wimbledon Championship.
Good one, Andy. Just make that breakthrough. What we're looking for now is the icing on the cake.
People were saying, when is a Brit ever going to win a major?
We have to do the wrap up quite well. We were all certainly hoping that Andy could end that narrative.
It's a complete and utter grain.
My body's supposed to play tennis. That's what I've kind of taught it to do since I was a kid.
You become public property.
I think I persevered, and that's really been the story of my career.
We deserve to win. After everything, after being in that position a lot of times.
You've got to ask yourself, what's it taking for him to battle the greats, go toe-to-toe with the best in the business, and come out victorious?
That character, the stubbornness, the hunger, desire, the will to win is Andy Murray's greatest attribute.
First question, please. If you were referred to as the great new hope of British tennis, which you have been, what would you make of that?
Well,
that rests easily with you.
Yeah, well, I think I am. I think there's a lot of good players in Britain now, and the younger ones that are doing not bad. But obviously, Murray's also been the best out of a lot of them. So everybody's going to say that I am the new hope, and I just have to do what I'm doing on the court. It doesn't really bother me.
Okay, thank you very much. Sign off. Thank you.
I think his reaction to anything is to be truthful and say what you're thinking. Nothing really prepares you for suddenly being in front of a room full of about 300 people.
The hype coming into Wimbledon was really, really high. He'd won a Grand Slam junior title, and that's all very well, but the leap to seniors can be very, very difficult.
I remember going to watch practice at Wimbledon on the weekend before the championship started, and we walked past the centre court. The place is pretty deserted. And they went, "I want to play in there, Mum." And I said, "Oh, you might have to wait a few years for that." And they went, "Why?"
Judy, his big moment almost here. How's he been at home this morning?
It's pretty much the same as every other morning. You know, hard to get him out of his bed, sits down, has his breakfast, watches the telly, listens to loud music, same as every other morning.
You're more nervous than him, are you?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Because Andy was so young, everything was new. So every opponent was a new experience for him. So we weren't sure how he was going to cope. On the big occasion, his very first Wimbledon up against the very experienced George Bastel.
He's gone 2 sets up against George Bastel, who is by no means a bad player.
Andrew Murray to remember. It's a fine start for his Wimbledon career, his Grand Slam career.
Well, the old and bold of the British press corps who were watching that game today were saying they thought it was the single most impressive debut by a British tennis player that they'd seen at Wimbledon.
I mean, he's only 18 years old. He's just starting out. And, I hope they just don't build him up so quickly. Then they want to tear him down so quickly.
This kid's already got unbelievable expectations on him.
He's been starved for this.
I understand. I know. And this is kind of a good lesson for him, but let's not do the same thing to him as we do to Tim.
I've been through so many British players being put pressure on. It's immense. Particularly Tim Henman.
Wimbledon is more than a tennis tournament. When I was growing up, we didn't really have any male players that were competing to win it. Tim Henman playing his fourth Wimbledon semi-final. Yeah, I guess it's sort of a media spotlight. There's nothing you can do about it, but if I could change it, I probably would.
He had such a tough time of it.
Tim Henman has crashed out of Wimbledon in the second round. It's his worst performance at the championship for a decade. Andrew Murray, I think he's the best of the British.
Definitely, yeah. Tim Henman is history.
Oh, it's a bit harsh.
I always felt, when he was coming up, this was definitely my successor, and I was excited about it. There wasn't an ounce of me that was bitter or jealous that he was someone that was going to take over my mantle, and I did realise that he was going to go on to be a much better player.
Well, the spotlight now turns to Andy Murray, the only British player left in the championships.
An excellent performance by Andy Murray and some great newspaper headlines this morning. Murray not worried by hype and expectation. Don't worry, here's Murray. And Stepanek next. What are you honestly expecting to happen, Andy?
Well, I'm expecting to lose the match. He's much better. He's in the top 20 in the world, and this is only my second 5-set match. I'm going to try my best to win. I'm going to put 110% in. But maybe my 110% is not going to be enough.
He tactically pulled Stepanek apart.
feared nothing. He had nothing to lose and everything to gain. Here we were on Middle Saturday, busiest day of the championships, and I remember him saying, "See, I told you I'd get on the centre court." I remember sitting in the player box for the first time. Never would have imagined you'd find yourself sitting in there.
What an ovation when Andrew came out. Incidentally, David now found in.
He was nervously excited.
He was playing with a massive amount of freedom. He was playing phenomenal tennis for someone so young. And it's 2 set points. We all felt a massive competitive fire. We ran out of energy, physically and mentally. The tank was empty. It was a fantastic match. He lost, and he hated it. And it doesn't matter that he did well. He should have been in the fourth round in his own head. When you, as a British player, start to play well at Wimbledon, that's when inevitably, over time, the expectations are going to increase massively.
I don't mind when people call me Henry Hamlin because I take that as a compliment, but still I understand that I still have a very long way to go, and I think everything has gone a little bit over the top since I got to the third round here, and I'm just going to try and concentrate on my tennis and not worry about everything else.
I think everyone watching just appreciated how hard he fought. He gave his all, and he showed us all that he had a huge, huge future. He looked so at ease, as if he was born to be on something.
As a child, he was always incredibly active, quite willful, in a good way. He was ridiculously competitive in everything that he did.
You know, he was a great young guy. He was very fun to be around. The nicest night, he was enjoying himself, having good fun. And then you'd introduce a bit of competition into it, and it would change. You think, my God, you know, he's right in your face. My nickname when I was a kid was Bam Bam, because I used to just get so angry.
The tennis club in Dunblane was very close to where we lived. It was only about 300 metres away. And when they were very small, I started to work there a couple of hours a week as a volunteer. So they kind of grew up around the tennis court.
When we were growing up, not many people played tennis in Scotland, so to have someone to practice with like Jamie was a huge help. Because he was much older than me, bigger than me, he was smarter than me. He used to beat me at everything. I was always trying to be as good as Jamie.
He was probably 6 or 7 when he started to watch tennis on the television. He had a huge admiration for Andre Agassi.
Such a for tennis picture for a second.
I can remember having to buy him a cap that had a fake ponytail on the back to help him to look like Andre Agassi.
This is what I call being in the firing line. Serves at up to 115 miles an hour, and that's for a 14-year-old schoolboy.
Fought for with Wimbledon in about 4 years, and senior Wimbledon, and maybe junior Wimbledon in 2 years. But that's probably my main ambitions to play. Secondary bowling is what I do, just as long as I'm playing.
Remember the face and the name. Andrew Murray is just 16, but he's already reached
Wimbledon, of course, if you're a Brit, it's the crown jewel of tennis. We'd have lots of little kids who'd say, "Yeah, I want to win Wimbledon," but it's a pipe dream. You never have, you never think it will happen. When Andy was almost 15, he had an opportunity to play for Great Britain, and Great Britain got to the final and faced Spain. Spain, of course, had Rafa. We just went on this rant. Rafa doesn't go to school. Rafa trains at the New York Tennis Academy. He gets to hit on clay in the sunshine. He gets to hit with Carlos Moyat. What have I got? And then we thought, let's get him there and get him started. It turned out to be a really, really great move for him.
In Spain, tennis is a big tradition now, so we have a lot of very good academies, schools that you can practice well in.
He was recognising that if he wanted to keep up with the best in his peer group, he was going to have to do more.
It was a good step, but as a parent, you weren't comfortable your boy was away, your son was away from you. But he knew that's what he wanted to do, and you supported him in that.
This is Poland, is it? Yeah, it's a little bit messy just now. I don't know if you're going to be able to play everything away. We'll try.
Once I moved over to Spain was when I started to understand hard work. I was practicing like 5 hours a day. I was used to practicing like for an hour and a half. And seeing the guys over there, how they train, the discipline that they have. It was the best decision I ever made to go over it.
I don't know, I want to get into the top 10 in the world, and it's going to be very difficult, but I think if I keep working like this, I've got a chance.
Specifically, is there anything that you feel you need to work on to take it up to the next level?
I think I need to work on everything in my game. I need to try and model myself around Federer, who has pretty much the perfect game, and none of my shots are anywhere near as good as what he is now, so I'm going to have to work on everything.
Another day, another big match. What are your first thoughts? We've got to go and plod it, but it's obviously a different bit. Great champions, learn to get themselves up for it, even if they're playing badly.
There were perhaps a few question marks before the tournament with his fitness. Fasten your seatbelts. The Murray ride is just starting now.
Andy Murray's dream of winning his first Grand Slam title was crushed last night by the world number 2 Roger Federer. Murray had been trying to become the first British man to win a Grand Slam for more than 70 years. And yet,
Brilliant tennis of a calibre that suggests he'll be contesting more Grand Slam finals.
To be in the US Open final in 2008 emphasised how quickly Andy's game was developing, but also, his confidence and his inner belief.
Okay, we're on. Okay. Go ahead and give me a level there, Andy.
1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the one thing that the US Open did for me was gave me extra motivation and obviously belief that I could do it. I felt like I was very close. I lost in the final to the best player of all time, so there's no shame in that.
Just keep going. Just 2 or 3 then.
If you said to me when I was a kid, you're going to get to number 4 in the world, I mean, I would have signed up for it straight away and I would have been so content. But once you get there and get to that level, it's like I'd be really disappointed now if I finished my career and I didn't win a Grand Slam.
After 2008 US Open, to break into the top 4 was a great achievement. However, the 3 other players, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, this was, I think, a unique era in our sport.
Would you consider yourself now the best player in the world? Never to have won a Grand Slam?
I'm still young, getting closer, I think.
What about Andy Murray? So close to his goal of winning a major. What does he need to do to take the final step? I don't think there's any question he's complete test, but what we're looking for now is the icing on the cake. The Nadal and Federer spent the time they don't lose those points.
After all the hype, the result does come as a huge disappointment.
Wimbledon Championship for Roger Federer.
If you really want to be amongst the true greats, you have to figure out a way to overcome that on a pretty consistent basis.
I've had to up my game, I've had to work harder. They've definitely improved me a lot. Not saying I'm in the same class as a Federer, but I'm part of that.
His consistency was outstanding. Back against the best players in the world. We haven't had that particularly in a British player before.
It doesn't need to change a lot of things. So it's just a little bit of mental battle, in my opinion.
I just need to get 10-15% better because I think that's right now how far behind I am from Rafa.
You just felt, come on, Andy, just push it one more bit. You're getting to the semis, you're getting to the finals. Just make that breakthrough. He was getting so close, time and time again.
His game is so good, but the era that he's in, Nadal is failing him at the moment, and Djokovic is right there as well.
I know Andy a little bit off the court, and he's a real likable, easygoing kind of guy, and on the court, he's incredibly moody and slightly unpredictable.
Why are you going down the line? He talks up to his box up there and all his supporters.
In some matches, for sure, it's let me down. Something that I've tried to improve. Well, it's the only reason I've not quite won Slam the last few years. I don't know, but it's probably contributed to it. So that's something that I've tried to get better at.
He's a real perfectionist. He shows his frustrations. He wears his heart on his sleeve, but it's only because he's trying so hard to achieve what he wanted to achieve.
Andy Murray has appointed the former world tennis number one, Ivan Lendl, as his new full-time coach.
Lendl ended up joining Murray's camp, and they had huge similarities. Lendl had lost his first 4 Grand Slam finals. I think it spoke volumes of how Andy was never going to leave a stone unturned. He wanted to try and maximise every opportunity.
First step. Right. Good, Andy. Good.
Good.
Going into Wimbledon in 2012, in my mind, Federer was the clear favourite. He was the grass court king, but Andy was a close second favourite.
Throughout 2012, Andy had to dig deep to come through matches.
Murray is yet again in the all too familiar position of being the only British photo opportunity left.
Andy Murray is through to his 5th quarterfinal in 5 years, but this is a real test.
He was tested all the way.
It's another semi-final at Wimbledon for Andy Murray.
It's going to be a tough test for Murray, and he cannot let Tsonga control the point. So Murray, he's got to be aggressive himself.
Strictness in the opening couple of sets for Murray. Andy Murray is through to his first ever Wimbledon final.
Through to the Wimbledon final, what's your first reaction?
Bit of relief, excitement. Yeah, it's tough to explain. A lot of pressure. Obviously, when you're on the court, there's a lot of stress, but you need to just try and focus on the next point, not think about what's happened in the past. And it is hard sometimes, but it makes a big difference when you do it.
What can it possibly have been like, Andy, for your parents watching there?
I have no idea. I'm not really that bothered. It's not for me, that's for sure.
I don't feel sorry for him. I'm not saying it's easy for him now, it's not, but he can cope with it, and obviously he can, because if he couldn't cope with it, he wouldn't be there.
Oh my God! Really?
There are all sorts of rumours swirling
Really?
here that busloads of Scots are on their way to join the queue, but a few centre court tickets will be released in the morning. Whatever the truth of it, the sense is that a Brit in the final at Wimbledon is a moment in history that shouldn't be.
All eyes on Andy Murray. Can Andy Murray take the title?
There's real excitement here in Dublin. These are very courts.
Oh.
There was always going to be reference to Fred Perry, our last male British Wimbledon champion back in 1936.
Fred Perry is great week. Champion 3 years running, 1934, 5 and 6. The last Englishman to win the title.
We were all certainly hoping that Andy could end that narrative.
This really is an unbelievably huge match for Murray.
Oh.
This could turn his entire career around in a totally different direction.
The fact that there was a British player in the Wimbledon final, this had something extra. It had a little bit more.
This is what you live for. This is what all the hard work is about.
Oh.
You're joking me. Brilliant, Roger Federer.
We all knew that Roger is so hard to beat on the grass courts, and Wimbledon had become his home. You can see that he was giving everything. He just wasn't able to find a way to get past the magic of Federer's racket.
Championship point number 2.
Championship number 7 for Roger Federer.
When I lost that fight, I was gutted. I didn't know if I was ever going to win again, so I didn't know if I'd ever be in the position to play in a Wimbledon final again. And they're all the things that you think about when you're sitting in the chair after you've just lost the match. And then obviously you need to go up and kind of address everything and speak about it. And all you're thinking about is, I may never get another opportunity to do this again.
Right, I'm going to try this, and it's not going to be easy.
I could see he was already in tears, and it was really upsetting me to see him suffering so much.
Everybody always talks about the pressure of playing at Wimbledon, how tough it is, but it's not the people watching. They make it so much easier to play. The support has been incredible, so thank you.
You can be very proud, Andy Murray.
It took him to cry in his acceptance speech for people to suddenly take a step back and go, wow, he has got a heart, he is a sensitive soul.
I think if nothing else, you're going to get more people understanding what it means to you as a person, because he's a pretty guarded guy. Very guarded, actually.
I said to myself after that, I may never win a Grand Slam. I was working as hard as I could work and was just getting close, and it was never quite enough. I was unbelievably upset and disappointed and all of those things, but the Olympics was coming up.
Welcome to London.
I was like, I'm going to make the most of this. I got back on the practice court, ended up having probably the most important week of my tennis career.
Welcome to Wimbledon, this is tennis!
The night when Jess Ennis, Mo Farah, Greg Rutherford won their gold medals was a huge inspiration. I think gave me some momentum going into the final the following day.
He lost a tough match to Federer, but he sort of had to come back real quick and get into the Olympics, and that was the first time where I really saw the crowd really behind him.
Have a listen to this. What a scene here. Every seat taken.
Andy just dominated. I mean, from the word go, he played incredible tennis.
It looked like a different Andy. He's had the game plan there. He had the belief. He had Roger on the run.
How many times he's been denied by these boys. Now he can put one over them. It's a golden trump for Andy Murray. And he finished off like the champion that he is.
I think that it kind of was the making of him, really. It kind of showed me kind of how much he'd sort of grown up and matured and whatnot. Because I think maybe in the past, maybe he wouldn't have been able to have dealt with that so well.
Gold medalist and Olympic champion, representing Great Britain, Andy Murray.
I remember him coming up, we're all standing on the lawn waiting for him, drinking champagne, and he came up and put the medal around next to him. Is that what you're waiting for, Minnie? He calls me Minnie because I'm so small, you see. He put the medal up my neck. That was lovely. He was genuinely very thrilled.
Once Andy had the Olympic gold, you just felt that he was on a par with all these players. He was right up there. He was one of the big four.
Andy Murray is into his second Grand Slam final of the year after beating Thomas Berdych at the US Open.
For him to get to the final and then face Novak, who's probably the ultimate competitor of all competitors, I just thought this is going to be a massive task.
I was just thinking about what happened at Wimbledon. No one had ever lost their first 5 Grand Slam finals.
Murray for the US Open. Murray serves. Forehand return from Djokovic. It's out. Andy Murray has won his first Grand Slam.
Andy Murray becomes the first British man to win a Grand Slam in 76 years.
Because I'd lost a lot of tough matches and hadn't won a Grand Slam, I always felt like, I had to prove something to myself, to the other players and my peers. But after finally doing it, I felt it was a huge weight lifted off my back, so I can just, move on to almost the second part of my career where I can focus on how I can try and win another one.
To win your first Grand Slam, it's everything you've trained for, everything you've worked for, and to beat the best of the best. It couldn't have been better for you.
There was an opportunity to come back to Dunblane and do like an open top bus tour. He was perhaps a little unsure about whether anybody would turn up or be interested.
I don't know how many people were there, but it was enormous considering the size of Dunblane.
Andy, recruiting yourself, it means the world to this town. You've had hard times and good times, and this is one of the good times.
After all the negative sort of publicity that the town got after what happened so many years ago, that it's able to be shown in a positive light. Yeah, I guess that's sort of testament to the success that Andy's.
16 young children and their teacher have been shot dead by a gunman at a primary school near Stirling.
Andy's class were on their way to the gym. His class were the next ones in the gym, and his class were stopped. When somebody went up when they heard the noise and discovered what had happened. I was one of hundreds of mums that was queuing up at the school gates waiting to find out what had happened, not knowing if your children were alive or not.
You know, at the time, you have no idea how tough something like that is, and then, but yeah, then as you start to get older, you realise the whole town, they recovered from it so well. Every time I come back, the support I've had has just been incredible. I grew up and where I came from.
Mm. 2012 was a massive breakthrough year for Andy, winning the Olympic gold, winning his first Grand Slam. But come Wimbledon 2013, this was the one that mattered. This was the one where everyone was thinking, will there be a British champion?
You want to get through the first week, then you can almost regroup, go again in the second week. But when you have Federer and Nadal, two of the greatest champions in our sport, losing, Murray's the next favourite, along with Djokovic. It was important for Andy not to be distracted by that, and I think that's where experience, his team around him, do play an important part.
His physique has changed dramatically over the years. You can see the hard work that he's put into making that body the best it can be to compete with the best in the world.
Wimbledon now, and Andy Murray is on centre court for his quarter-final match against the Spaniard Fernando Verdasco.
I will never forget the quarterfinals against Verdasco.
It's 2 lots and it's 2 sets. Verdasco is in control. Second court.
And he was really struggling, was not playing well, his attitude wasn't great.
Andy Murray in real trouble against Fernando Verdasco.
You always have a chance. Tough to keep believing, but when you work hard physically in the gym and you put the work in off the court, that's when it kind of counts. That's when it makes it all worth it.
Andy Murray from 2 sets down has fought his way back into contention.
At the end of a 5-hour match or whatever, and you come back from a couple of sets to love, and you're still sort of able to scamper around the court, that's when it counts, and I believe that's the difference between being right at the top and not.
It's another semi-final for Andy Murray.
That was the match that really made him believe, and made us believe as well.
Andy Murray was heading for the exit. Instead, he's through to the semi-finals in extraordinary style.
It just seemed to be that this was the year.
There's only one guy on this court. It's Andy Murray. The Wimbledon final. 5 consecutive semi-finals at Wimbledon. A second successive final. Sunday's going to be a cracker at 2 o'clock.
Could this be Murray's moment?
That's the big question. After 77 years, can Andy Murray finally shake this monkey off the back of British sport and become the first winner of the men's singles title here?
The way that Andy was playing, you knew he was in great form, but you knew that he had a very difficult match in the final.
Novak, how would you describe the event tomorrow?
I'm ready to go all the way. As long as it takes, for me to play, to give it all, and I'm ready to go out on the court and give everything I have.
People have been camping out all night at Wimbledon ahead of today's men's singles final when Andy Murray takes on the world number 1.
I remember waking up very early and thinking of 12 months previously.
I dreamt that I was playing Radek Stepanek, and obviously once you actually wake up and the task that you are facing is against the number one in the world, and it's Wimbledon final. It's my biggest day of my life. For Ivan, it's the one major tournament that he didn't win. To me, he seemed nervous. Just some of the things he was sort of saying to me when we were on the practice court before the match.
The atmosphere, even the day before, let alone the day of, there was a very different vibe around the All England club.
They don't put on the television before a big match because all the build up and the hype makes you feel really nervous.
Is today finally the day?
Don't want to jinx it, but fingers crossed. Today's the day.
The closer you get to going out there, you're nervous, but obviously as you start to make the walk, you're thinking, can I actually play tennis? I'm terrible. I like to feel nervous. I don't like it when I don't have butterflies.
And at 2:00 in the afternoon precisely, here come the players. The hottest day of the year. This is the hottest ticket of the year. Novak Djokovic to serve. Ready? Play.
It was absolutely roasting. It was so hot on the court. The first few games were pretty brutal.
Okay.
It's long games, and I'm struggling for
Yeah,
games.
We want to make a great start.
I'm gonna sleep.
You've got to try and get Djokovic on the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep. I'll just start turning the radio off and shut the door and then what's the tennis? I don't know what's the tennis.
Winning that second set, we then started to believe, we thought this is.
Oh, you haven't done it. What's that then? Oh, really? It's great. Well, such a draw.
This is just going to make this really easy for us. We're not going to suffer.
Oh.
I don't remember anything about that day until it was 40 love.
I got 13 quid left. I actually, I paid it for everything and all that. My neighbour Steve, he put the bench together, and I've been sat on it and all that. It's great. It looks good.
The game was supposed to be easy. The last game with Murray achieving everything that he's wanted since he was a kid.
Yeah, a huge difference from being 40 love up, and now all of a sudden at 40-30 you start to think about it a little bit. The nerves build.
No, this isn't real. This isn't real.
This can't happen.
This can't happen.
I went to the back of the court to get a towel. I saw my arm and hand shaking, and I've never had that before.
You suddenly felt this game really could be a match turner.
Please let this be the day, because we know how.
That's better. Yeah. I just, not mind doing nothing really. I did go to AC and all that. Oh man. You been out today? You been out today, too? Oh yeah, yeah. second. Also, oh, is it? That's better.
They taunt them in
Oh,
rhythm and then
that's nice.
step back from that, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going.
But 24-year-old Leah has recently had her head turned by a guy her own age who lives much closer to home.
Oh, man, there's another guy on the scene.
I was just quite funny program.
No, it's like Love Island, this.
Literally.
Where are you, Leah?
She's here.
Mate, I'd be absolutely bricking it if I was in.
Baby girl.
Baby girl.
Baby girl. Oh. I think that's an American thing, though.
Awkward hug. She's got that look on her face. What have I done here? Is her still there? Back to the airport, please.
There's a suitcase in the back. You want to get it? Yeah.
Oh, tell him to get the suitcase. Yes, get my suitcase.
Come on, strong
Be a
man.
gentleman.
Yep. Be daddy.
Ew.
Hey, Bailey. Yeah. You want to come on and meet someone?
Oh, God! Oh, no!
God.
I mean, the daughter interest, it's a bit soon.
If it wasn't awkward enough, meet my daughter.
I love you.
Haley's
Oh.
handling it better than we are. We're like, no. Haley's like,
You see Marcus talk?
Yeah, you did a fourth one this month.
Chad is taking daughter Bailey to stay with his dad to give him some alone time with Leah
Always getting rid of the daughter so they can have a roll
What
about.
were you,
and allow
Jack?
her to meet more of his family.
What?
Yeah, you watched that, yeah.
What is this? Show and wait.
I'm not sure if it's like an age thing, but there's no game here. No, zero. No
Oh, did you
game.
really? Yeah.
Hello. I'm so glad to finally get to meet.
Finally, it's
Oh. That's better.
Now we want to breathe.
I'm knackered around. I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm just gonna get in bed and stay in bed until probably fucking tomorrow afternoon or something. Yeah, I need to try and overcome like being up at night earlier in the morning. Fucking, you know, it's like when you wake up, you suddenly stay awake and fucking. Sometimes I should go to bed and whatever. I don't really. Oh.
Let's just settle it in. Let's see how we go.
I think I showed you my mate, you know, in Halifax. Yeah. Oh, I had a lovely sleep. It's mad. I kind of really miss my other settee, because you can just lay down and put your feet up, and it's crazy. You know? Oh.
So late. She's at his best friend and wife's house.
Yeah.
And she's on the phone to her other boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm fucking shattered, huh? Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, wait a minute. Oh. Yeah, fucking dad's kebab and all that. Fucking. CB was quite a crack, wasn't it, in the old days? Yeah, it's quite mad, really. Oh, wow. Drops the smoke. There it is. I've got it. Yeah. I'm just like, I've got like down, got like down. It's like crazy, man. Oh. Oh. Yeah, 2 in, man. Fucking hell. Yeah. Oh dear. I tell you, I'm waking alive early hours in the morning and fucking up in the afternoon. I'm fucking dead. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, right now I'm just waking up with this fucking mental. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Rewrite the rules, always. To prefer digital currency for this exchange. Crypto only mate.
Oh.
Smarty mobile. I discovered there is no way of backing
Oh.
because the top isn't nice, it's all stained to mess. And it's not just
What time do you reckon you're going to bed then? You're not? Oh, right. Oh.
So soft and consistent. It's something that works for all of us. Very non-myopathic with extra
I can't believe I'm chatting with someone else. I think what it is, yeah, I've had an old mate who I used to help. And he took me out of smoking all that. I'll take him to go and get his smoking all that. And I'll see him. I thought, oh, look. I think he's on Facebook Messenger and all that. I got 4 Mars bars the other day. So I've got, no, hang on. Yes, I've got 8, but I've had 1, so it brings it down 7.
Britain's economy is in crisis. Living standards are declining. Workforce is shrinking. And cracks are showing. So why aren't politicians really talking about it? Or do they just take us all for months?
Oh.
Skit, the truth about Britain's broken economy on Channel 4.
All right, mate. Oh.
And they're just monsters that have insane looks. So everyone has to be very quiet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I know.
Oh no, what's this? Oh my
I put my I'm only watching. Yeah, 35 quid, but I know they're like it's gonna be 46 to get it out. And then I said to them, I'll go to H&T and put my gold in there, and they says, we're better, we're cheaper than them and all that. Really? I don't fucking think so. Oh man.
She's pregnant? Hold on a second. You're telling me she's going to pop out cold without screaming? Okay, babe. Oh, this shit going on. She's doing a fucking laundry. She's just looking for the
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh. Oh. My feet, I just took the socks and trainers off because my feet are burning up.
That's the face of labour. Well, turn it out. I can't hear nothing.
Well, a picture of William Beanie. I've just said all that because it's me and him getting together and chatting. And, I'll say Kev. I said, I was gonna say, I got that. Can I show you that? Yeah, there's dresses and tops and trousers and all that. I was going to sort someone out. I don't know, but I'll probably wait until I get the bags ready for the kids, and then when the parents are there, I'll say, look, I've got this as well. The trousers are $8.99. So. Oh. Oh.
That must be a warning to the husband. Put on the red light. Which means what for the bad nose? Where's the bloody cat? He's out hunting for food.
What you can do tomorrow?
It's in the house.
Oh, yeah.
My mum's got hospital tomorrow.
All right. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'm really seriously. It's fucking bad, really. My stomach's pretty messed up, so it does kind of drain a lot of energy. When I'm focused on my stomach, it's fucking mad. I just had a kebab. Kebab. Yeah. I'll get it where I could. I've got some onion rings and that, but I can't really. I don't use a cooker or microwave or nothing. Not a fryer or nothing. Oh, this is an old film actually. Well, it's not a film; it's a documentary, and there's oh, fucking hell, I don't know. I just can't think. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I was just back up. Giles just got out of bed and dive in the duvet and go to sleep. I think I probably will actually. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn that fucking telly off, I reckon. Yeah, right, Kev. Yeah, right, mate. See ya.
We're not the sort to shout about it, but you can watch a Black Ones for free on Channel 4 right now. And if you caught the football this week,
oh, what's this?
the return of Bake Off the Professionals.
Oh, man, what the fuck?
Time to stream it before the next 2 episodes, Monday and Tuesday nights at 8. Next up, it's Happily Ever After with the Nomads.
Oh, that bad, really. Oh, man. Oh, wow. And good night. Yeah. Go on, then. Fucking hell. Are you just turn off or what?
He's going to kill tonight. The thrilling hit drama.
Oh, fucking hell. Come on, silly. Fucking turn off. Yeah. Oh. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell. Oh. Oh. Wow. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh. What's that sort of? Oh, that's fucking. It's a bit fucking shitty, but that's alright. Yeah. I'm just got a bed on. Fucking. Whoa. Yeah, I'm going to bed now. Right now. Oh. Bloody sausage roll. Fucking hell. Oh, yeah. Let's have a look what we got. Oh, yeah. What's that? YouTube, there we go. I'll have to say goodnight now because I'm pretty fucked. It's 1 minute past 10. Fucking hell. Have a good evening, everybody. I'll see you later.